A little warm up, but our humidity stays low today. I'll show you how many more days are comfortable before the big summer heat comes back.
Disappointing loss. The Canes fall to the Golden Knights in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. Reaction from fans as the team looks to bounce back in Game 2.
Possible rate hikes. Duke Energy is discussing an increase in the amount you pay in energy bills. How you can make your voice heard at a meeting tonight in Durham. We are following those stories and a whole lot more, plus your morning commute. WRAL News at 8 on Fox 50 starts in about 30 seconds.
At Leith Honda in Raleigh and Auto Park Honda in Cary, we make your buying process easy. And with every new car purchase, you'll enjoy complimentary oil changes and exceptional service. It's no wonder we've earned so many 5-star reviews. You'll also get peace of mind pricing with every used vehicle, and if it's not the perfect fit, no problem. Bring it back within 3 days for an easy exchange. Visit our showroom at Auto Park Honda in Cary or Leith Honda in Raleigh. It's easier here.
Your number one source for local news. This is WRAL, coverage you can count on.
Good morning, everybody. Great to be with you this morning. You might have to dress in layers because it's a little chilly outside, but it's going to warm up later on. Let's get right to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center, tracking it all for us.
Something that we don't see very often, temperatures in the upper 40s in early June. So we did break the record this morning at RDU, the old record 49 back in 1956. Temperatures are starting to warm up at this point. We're climbing on up into the 50s. This is a live look at from Dix Park over, of course, Gibson Play Plaza. This is likely to be a very popular place later on today as our temperatures just feel delightful. The dew point is way over here at Dry, meaning it doesn't feel muggy at all with a dew point of 45, and that should be the case for most of the day. 51 is our current temperature. We climb into the mid-70s at lunchtime, and we'll be in the mid-80s for highs this afternoon. Now, while that's warmer than yesterday, the humidity does remain low. I'll let you know how many days in a row it will still feel fairly comfortable. Coming up, Chris.
And Elizabeth, happening at 8:02 here in the WRAL Traffic Center. Live look at US 1. You're looking at the northbound lanes on connecting from NC 55 there in Apex. One of our typical slowdown spots. Another one, I-87 at Smithfield Road. And there you can see those of us driving toward Raleigh are definitely experiencing some bumper-to-bumper traffic as folks are getting onto the interstate. It just tends to get more congested. So let's take you around town with some of those delay times coming in from Apex on US 1. It's about a 4-minute delay, nothing crazy. Elsewhere on I-87, it's come down from about 19 minutes to an 8-minute delay. All of that is typical as you're coming in from Knightdale into downtown Raleigh. And as you're coming in from Wake Forest on Capitol Boulevard, 10-minute delay. A lot of that is the congestion and the stoplights that you often get on that road. So in the meantime, elsewhere, coming in from Garner and coming in from Durham, nothing that's going to make you late. We'll let you know if that changes while you're on the go on 101.5 HD3.
Chris, thanks. One person is in custody after a man was hurt in a shooting in Cary. This happened, police say, just before 9:30 last night on Brickfield Drive of North Carolina 55. The police say the man that was shot was taken to the area hospital. We're still trying to get an update on his condition. Police say the investigation is ongoing. Well, this morning, Caniacs may be waking up a little discouraged after the Carolina Hurricanes lost Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final to the Vegas Golden Knights. The final score 5-4 at Lenovo Center. Let's get over to WRAL's Ali Cadlabar. You've been live outside the Lenovo Center all morning long. And Ali, fans knew this would be a tough series.
Oh, yes, they did, and we were all hoping for a better ending. And last night, hours ago, fans were packing this area. This was where the watch party was in front of the stage. There were a lot of fans cheering until they lost the Stanley Cup Final Game 1. Now, Canes fans packed Lenovo inside and out. Caniacs watched from all over the triangle, hoping Game 1 would bring the Carolina Hurricanes one step closer to the Stanley Cup. The Canes had a great start, but lost 5-4 to this Vegas Golden Knights. Fans tell us they are not losing hope. The best-of-7 series has only just begun.
We're going to get a gentleman's sweep. It's when we win 4-1. I just think we got to skate more.
Oh yeah, and they will keep skating because Game 2 is tomorrow night. It is here at Lenovo. Puck drops at 8 o'clock. WRAL is going to have coverage before and after the game. We cannot give up hope now. Reporting live at Lenovo Center, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
Yeah, it's only game one. We'll still head in about 10 minutes. WRAL's Pat Welch and Chris Lee take a deeper look at what the Hurricanes need to do to bounce back in game two. Our team coverage continues throughout the Stanley Cup final. Game two tomorrow night. Michelle McConaughey will lead the coverage from Lenovo Center during our evening newscasts. Well, tonight you can share your thoughts about a possible increase to your power bill. A public hearing originally scheduled for last month, postponed to today. Let's bring in WRAL's Kelsey Coffey. She's live outside the Durham County Courthouse where the hearing will happen. Now, Kelsey, electric bills in North Carolina already going up 22% since 2020.
Yes, Ken, and a lot of folks are fired up about that. Tonight, you can speak directly to state regulators about possible rate hikes here at the Durham County Courthouse. Duke Energy is asking for approval to raise rates again. Your power bill could increase up to 18% over the next 2 years if this request is approved. That means the average customer would pay $34 more a month by 2028. Duke Energy says the increase is needed to pay for growth, which includes new residents and large energy users like data centers. The utility says it must invest more money on the front end to save money on the back end for customers. The North Carolina Environmental Justice Network is pushing back on that.
Make sure utility rates do not increase. That is essential to make sure that Duke Energy itself pays for its own infrastructure and does not put the burden on North Carolina citizens.
This public hearing is scheduled for tonight at 7 o'clock. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Durham.
Well, happening today, state lawmakers are expected to vote on a bill aimed at putting guardrails in data centers in North Carolina and protecting residents from footing the cost of supporting those data centers. WRAL's Kirsten Clark live outside the legislative building this morning. And Kirsten, this bill is speeding through the legislature. What can you tell us?
Yes, it is, Ken. And you may remember this bill was first introduced in the state legislature back in May. Lawmakers say decisions about data centers are really a balancing act between promoting economic growth and protecting the local community. When it comes to this bill, it addresses how and where data centers should grow in the state. It would require data centers to cover the cost of electricity, grid upgrades, and new power generation. It would also require the use of recycled water systems designed to minimize stress on drinking water sources, with other restrictions on noise pollution and land use planning. Now, there is some disagreement on this bill. Tech industry representatives warn some parts of it could make North Carolina less competitive, while others say the bill is a start but does not go far enough in cracking down on data centers. So the House of Representatives plans to vote on this measure today, and if it is approved, it will move on to the state Senate. Live in Raleigh, Kirsten Clark, WRAL News.
New this morning, dozens of North Carolina school districts say they plan to start next school year earlier than the state's calendar law calls for. This comes as the State Board of Education preparing to hear a report on school start and end dates. State law requires most public schools to start no sooner than August 24th next year. Well, still, a new state report shows school boards are continuing to rebel against unless they face a lawsuit. Some of those boards say they want students to take first semester exams before winter break. They also want high schools to have the same calendars as the community college many of them take classes from. But WRAL education insider Emily Walkenhorst says that law is important for the tourism industry along the East Coast.
That's really where a lot of this comes from, is it has to do with concerns on the coast about having enough labor for those warmer months in August. So, you know, if they're getting a lot of tourists, especially from other states, in those late August months, they want high schoolers to be able to continue to work at that time.
The State Board of Education is scheduled to hear the report on school start and end dates this afternoon. New developments now in the Middle East. The U.S. military leaders say they have disabled an oil tanker heading toward an Iranian oil port. U.S. Central Command says it struck the ship with a missile after it ignored warnings to comply with the U.S. blockade. The U.S. military disabled the ship in a similar situation over the weekend. These strikes come during uncertainty surrounding a peace deal. Appearing on Capitol Hill yesterday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio talked about those negotiations, including discussions about Iran's nuclear program.
There is the prospect before us, which could happen today, it could happen tomorrow, it could happen next week, that for the first time, certainly in my memory, they have agreed to negotiate aspects of their nuclear program that just a month ago or just a year ago, they were refusing to even mention, much less enter into discussions about.
During that hearing, Secretary Rubio also stressed a key part of negotiations is getting the Strait of Hormuz reopened. The key waterway has been effectively closed for months, disrupting the global oil supply. Well, coming up on 8:10 now, rideshare safety. After the death of a rideshare driver, a local family is pushing for stronger safety precautions, the change they want to see happen. Also bouncing back, what needs to happen for the Hurricanes in Game 2 after dropping the first game in the Stanley Cup Final.
It's hard to beat this morning for outside exercise. At 9 a.m., temperatures in the low 60s. Even at lunchtime, we're right around 80 degrees and our humidity stays low. We do have some big summer heat in our forecast, though. I'll show you when. 8:14, such a pretty start this morning. This is a live look at Southern Pines, and the golfers are out there. Maybe those aren't golfers. It looks like they're out there getting ready for the golfers, though, doing all the maintenance, getting things ready. So pretty out there at Longleaf Golf and Family Club. And the weather is just gorgeous, too. 58 in Raleigh, 55 Roanoke Rapids, 61 in Wilson, and 58 in Goldsboro. So comfortable. And lunch hour looks great, too. If you get a chance to get out and take a walk or a little exercise at lunchtime, 76 at noon. We do climb into the low 80s by around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and our high will be in the mid 80s. It's going to be a really nice game for the Bulls at home tonight versus Charlotte at 6 o'clock, 80 degrees, and at 8 o'clock, 76. The humidity remains low and comfortable for a couple more days before we get into that really intense, humid, hot weather. I'll show you when. Chris?
That should be a really nice evening for the game. Meanwhile, we'll give you a live look at Clayton Bypass at NC 42. Reason why I'm highlighting that is that there's a crash that's being reported not far from where that camera is situated. This is right there near NC 42 at Cornwallis Road. The backup estimated to be at least 1 mile from that incident being reported by NC DOT. We'll take a look at if that's causing any delay times heading into downtown Raleigh coming up within the next few minutes.
Chris, thanks. Well, a Triangle family is renewing calls for tougher gun violence prevention and rideshare safety. 57-year-old Emmanuel Beatty was shot and killed by a passenger while driving for Uber back in 2025. Yesterday, his family called for change at the state legislature. They say his death could have been prevented. They accused Uber of having minimized background checks, vehicle checks, and driver oversight to expand its roster of drivers. Their message to lawmakers is simple.
We are calling on lawmakers to strengthen protections for rideshare drivers. Rideshare companies operating in this state must be held to the highest enforceable safety standards.
Lawmakers say they are pushing for mandatory reporting policies in rideshare, creating advisory boards and incentives for camera share as well. Longtime 60 Minutes correspondent Scott Pelley fired by CBS on Tuesday. The termination announced yesterday, just hours after Pelley attended a meeting with management. In a meeting, Pelley accused editor-in-chief Barry Weiss of trying to, quote, kill 60 Minutes. In a statement, Pelley also accused management of asking him to inject falsehoods and bias into his reporting. This announcement also comes after the recent firing of 2 correspondents and other top producers on that show. Well, getting back to the Carolina Hurricanes, they're looking to bounce back tomorrow night in Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final. WRAL's Chris Lee and Pat Welter have a look at where they go next against the Golden Knights.
Good morning from Lenovo Center, where the Carolina Hurricanes are down 1-0 to the Vegas Golden Knights here in the Stanley Cup Final. It was an amazing atmosphere here at Lenovo Center. Unfortunately, the Canes couldn't cash home the win to go up 1-0, but they do have another opportunity tomorrow.
Yeah, I keep thinking back to what the Canes told us in the locker room, how well they slept going into this one. Well, maybe a little bit of a wake-up call because this Vegas team has won a Stanley Cup before. Hurricanes first time here in 20 years, but correctable mistakes, I think, going forward.
The third period really decided this game, even though the Canes probably were the better playing team in the third. Let's show you what happened. Shane Gostisbehere able to move Carter Hart, gets him a little bit uncomfortable, and the Ghost able to slide it past Vegas's goalie for the Canes to tie it up at 4. Absolutely deafening here at Lenovo Center after that.
Canes got up 2-0 in this game. They battled back to tie it and tie it and tie it again. You thought they were going to win it, but with 3:24 to go, it's Tomas Hertl getting one past Freddie Anderson. Just too many high-danger chances in this game for the Canes to overcome. They fall 5-4 to the Vegas Golden Knights here in Game 1.
It wasn't great. It didn't look as dangerous as theirs, and we have to be better. There's no question. There's more to be had, and there was a couple opportunities, but for the most part, the execution wasn't there.
This game a little bit ironic to me, Chris, because the Canes had the skill in this game. 5 goals, 2 from Nikolai Ehlers. You thought the Canes were just going to walk away from this one, but just too much time and space for the Vegas Golden Knights, something they're really going to have to adjust to the rest of the series.
We saw after the Canes lost Game 1 versus Montreal, they didn't go on the ice the day after.
Yeah.
Rod Brind'Amour has decided, hey, this is going to be a video review session to figure out what we need to do better, and we saw what happened from there. We'll have to see what ends up happening later on this morning here at Lenovo Center. We'll send it back inside to you guys.
Of course, we'll be talking with our Carolina Hurricanes insider Adam Gold in the next hour. Now, it was 20 years ago when Carolina Hurricanes won their first and only Stanley Cup. That year was also a challenge that was not on the ice. Let's get to meteorologist Chris Michaels showing us the tropical storm that moved through our area during Game 5 in today's Ask the Meteorologist. Chris?
Yeah, this was back in June of 2006 when Tropical Storm Alberto moved up from the Gulf through Florida and then made a mad dash through the Carolinas. This is what it looked like. Here's some old video showing all the flooding. My goodness, from that storm. There were several inches of rain that had dropped in. It dropped right over Raleigh on the day that Game 5 was played. That was actually our 4th wettest day on record in Raleigh. Our records go back to 1887. Let's show you kind of the footprint of Tropical Storm Alberto, what it did. It really made quite the imprint on our area with some lesser rain totals to the west and to the east. This really stuck out to me when I was looking back at the past data because this was the only home game that the Canes lost. They lost 4-3 to Edmonton. The other 3 they won. And one other thing I want to point out is that their Game 2 weather in 06 very similar to our Game 2 weather tomorrow, and we shut out the Oilers. So Elizabeth, hopefully we can shut out the Golden Knights with similar weather. I'm just saying.
I hope so. Yeah, I like your forecast for that. I think it's so interesting. Obviously, they're the Carolina Hurricanes, and they use a lot of plays, on words like, storm surge and, storm warning and all that. They actually had a tropical system last time they played in the Stanley Cup. Nothing like that, of course, today. It looks absolutely beautiful. This is a live look at Dix Park, the playground there, Gibson Play Plaza. I don't see a whole lot of people out there just yet, but it is still early. It's only 8:20, and it's not really kind of day that you have to get there early because of the heat. It still feels really nice. It is 58 with a dew point of 44. That dew point stays incredibly low. It really feels like early spring or sometime during the fall. High pressure to our north is the cause of this. That high pressure system rotating clockwise, pushing cool, dry air into our region. It really pushed that cold front well to the south, and that's where all of the humidity is right now. As the high dips southward, it's going to start to grab up some of that heat and humidity and push it back in. Mid-80s today, but nice low humidity. And tomorrow's a little bit of a transition day, closer to 90, but the humidity stays on the lower side. As we get into Friday and Saturday, it gets pulled up. That heat and humidity starts to gradually creep back in, especially by Sunday. It's just going to feel exactly like summer with mid-90s and a lot of humidity. The one thing about putting humidity in place here is when our cold front drops in on Monday, it has something to work with. So we do have a chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms on Monday. It could start as late Sunday, but it looks more likely Monday. But it also doesn't look like a lot of rain, 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch, and we still need anywhere from about 10 to 15 inches of rain to get out of the drought. Really hurting from the Triangle area northward, where we've only had about 50% of our normal rainfall for this month. Temperatures keep on climbing into the weekend, but Monday's front is likely to help cool us off by Tuesday. Chris?
And Elizabeth, taking you back out to the Clayton bypass near NC 42, and every now and then we see a little bit of a slowdown as you're heading toward Raleigh out of places like Wilson's Mills. We'll show you why that could potentially be the case. There's a reported incident right near Cornwallis Road, and that does have a backup that's now more than a mile. At least that's the estimate according to the sensors there. We'll broaden out the view and you can see where that is. So Clayton's to the north, Wilson's Mills to the east. So this is as you're trying to connect to I-40 and then head up toward downtown Raleigh. You'll also notice that crash marker there, I-40 westbound near South Saunders Street. There is a backup there. So in terms of heading into Raleigh, out of Garner on NC 36 connecting to the Beltline, that doesn't have any delay, but some of those feeder roads could be delayed. US 1 at NC 55 looks to be a lot better for us this morning coming in out of Apex. That now down to a 1-minute delay heading into downtown Raleigh. The only other trouble spot we might be seeing coming in from Knightdale, but even that has improved to only a 4-minute delay.
Chris, thanks. Saving on car insurance. Owning a car can come with some high costs. Bobby Nassad explains how one quick phone call could save you hundreds of dollars.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning at 8:26. You might feel a little chill in the air as you step out the door. Let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, the WRAL Weather Center, tracking our forecast.
Perfect day to get outside. We take a live look here at Longleaf Golf and Family Club. I imagine any outdoor spaces are going to be coveted today as great places to be because our temperatures feel great just like yesterday. 61 in Roanoke Rapids, 58 in Raleigh, 61 in Wilson, and 60 in Goldsboro. Our humidity stays nice and low today, but highs will be closer to mid-80s, about 5 or 6 degrees warmer than what we saw yesterday. Lots of sunshine, low humidity, making it feel nice and comfortable around town this afternoon. Chris?
And Elizabeth going to give you guys a live look at I-40 at South Saunders Street. These are the lanes coming toward downtown Raleigh. Those are the lanes that are heading more toward Garner. So this is right at about exit 298, showing you that specifically just because of a reported crash that actually has cleared within the last 2 minutes. So that seems to be some good news there. Some residual slowdowns there in the westbound lanes. There you see the yellow. That's right around South Saunders Street. There's Lake Wheeler and Gorman Street. So nothing making you terribly late coming in from there. We'll show you some other delay times coming up on Fox 50.
Chris, thanks. One person is in custody after a man was hurt in a shooting in Cary. Police say this happened just before 9:30 last night on Brickfield Drive off North Carolina Highway 55. Police say the man that was shot was taken to an area hospital. We're still working to get an update on his condition. A tough loss last night for the Carolina Hurricanes in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. After the Canes got out to an early lead, the Vegas Golden Knights made it a close game, eventually hitting the winning goal near the end of the game for a 5-4 win. Game 2 is tomorrow night at Lenovo Center. Puck drops at 8 o'clock. More local news ahead on Fox 50.
And we're a little warm up, but our humidity stays low today. I'll show you how many more days are comfortable before the big summer heat comes back.
Disappointing loss. The Canes fall to the Golden Knights in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. Reaction from fans as the team looks to bounce back in Game 2.
Possible rate hikes. Duke Energy is discussing an increase in the amount you pay in energy bills. How you can make your voice heard at a meeting tonight in Durham. Lots to get to here at 8:31. We're so glad you're with us. I'm Ken Smith. Let's go ahead and get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, the WRAL Weather Center, tracking our chilly morning, actually.
It's felt really nice out there this morning. We ended up with temperatures dropping into the upper 40s this morning. We did end up breaking a record low. We hit 48 degrees, and the old record was 49, set back in 1956. So temperatures like this we don't see very often in June. I will say that the record coldest morning in June was on the 8th of June, where it dipped into the upper 30s. So it's not the coldest record in June. We take a look at Raleigh this morning. Beautiful sunshine. You can see here across the legislative building, flags are waving nicely. Our dew point's way down at 44, so it feels very comfortable and dry this morning. 58 is our current temperature. Mid-70s at lunchtime. We'll be in the mid-80s for highs this afternoon, but it'll still feel comfortable to be outside. We'll be about 5 or 6 degrees warmer than we were yesterday, but with the low humidity, it still feels like we're not in the middle of summer. It will feel like the middle of summer, though, by the weekend. I'll show you the changes coming our way. Chris?
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL traffic center. The lanes heading toward you, those are the westbound lanes on I-40 near South Saunders Street. The lanes going away are those eastbound lanes. You can see the ones that are definitely more congested. Those are the westbound lanes as you're heading toward Raleigh. But I will say things have improved there. There was a crash reported that has since cleared. Just a little bit of yellow on the sensor, just indicating that little bit of a backup. More of a backup, however, this is on NC 42 near Cornwallis Road. This is in Johnston County, where there's a incident reported according to NCDOT, and that backup is at least 1 mile. And you can see that just south of Clayton as you're heading from Wilson's Mill, trying to connect to I-40 and head up toward Raleigh. So we'll keep tabs on that. US 70 at NC 42. Now you're starting to see some of the backups being caused by that crash or by that incident. So again, one of those things we'll keep close tabs on, see if there's anything to report on that. But in the meantime, as you're heading into downtown Raleigh, nothing that's making you terribly late coming in from Knightdale, Wake Forest, Durham, or Apex on this Wednesday morning.
Chris, thanks. So one person is in custody after a man was found shot in Cary. Police say this happened just before 9:30 last night on Brickfield Drive off State Highway 55. Police say the man was taken to an area hospital. We're still trying to get a condition on his on how he's doing. Police say this is an ongoing investigation. Listen, it was a tough loss for the Carolina Hurricanes last night. I'm sure fans are feeling the pain right now. Of course, the Canes losing to the Vegas Golden Knights 5-4 in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. Let's get right to WRAL's Ali Cadlebar. She's live outside the Lenovo Center this morning. And Ali, fans knew that this was not going to be easy.
Yeah, they knew it wasn't going to be easy. Anybody wearing one of these jerseys last night is waking up a little upset. We were all hoping for a better ending. We were all hoping to see a 13th warning flag on the Lenovo Center for this game, but that was not the case. The Canes had a great start in the first period. It was tied 3-3 in the second, but the Vegas Golden Knights rallied for a 5-4 victory for Game 1. Fans say it's too soon to lose hope. It is the best of 7 games. Just last month, the Canes lost their first game of the Eastern Conference Final to Montreal and then won 4 in a row. Fans tell us they are staying optimistic for Game 2.
It's early. We've got resilience, consistency. You know, it's 20 years in the making right now, and you know it's a moment that's going to happen.
It is a moment that's going to happen. That's what fans are believing. All eyes on that Stanley Cup. Now, tickets do go on sale today at 1:30 for the watch party here at Lenovo Center. That happens today again at 1:30. You can come get your tickets for $10. As for tomorrow, Game 2, it's right here at Lenovo Center. It's at 8 o'clock. WRAL is going to have coverage before and after the game. For now, we are just keeping up the energy here at Lenovo Center. Reporting live at Lenovo Center, Ali Cadlebar, WRAL News.
Alex still bringing the excitement. You can still join in on the Stanley Cup Final excitement if you can't make it into the game. The Canes will host watch parties for some games outside Lenovo Center. The next party is tomorrow night, Game 2. Tickets for the away games when they have those games at the Lenovo Center are $10. Of course, if you're going to the watch party tomorrow night, you've got to pay for parking. Keep that in mind, anywhere between $75 to $100. The city of Raleigh is also hosting watch parties in Moore Square. Those festivities get underway at 7 p.m. Of course, our team coverage continues throughout the Stanley Cup Final, Game 2 tomorrow night. WRAL's Michelle McConaughey will lead our live team coverage from Lenovo Center during our afternoon and evening newscasts. Well, tonight you can share your thoughts about a possible increase to your power bill. A public hearing originally scheduled for last month, postponed to today. Let's bring in WRAL's Kelsey Coffey. She's out outside the Durham County Courthouse this morning. And Kelsey, electric bills are already up 22% since 2020.
Yes, Ken, tonight you can speak directly with state regulators about possible rate hikes here inside the Durham County Courthouse. Duke Energy is asking for approval to raise rates again. Your power bill could increase up to 18% over the next 2 years. That means the average customer would pay $34 more a month by 2028. Duke Energy says the increase is needed to pay for growth, which includes new residents and large energy users like data centers. The utility says it must invest more money on the front end to save money on the back end for customers. The North Carolina Environmental Justice Network is pushing back on that.
Economically, that doesn't really work because we also know that the dollar tomorrow is worth less than the dollar today. And we know that right now in North Carolina, every single family needs that money today. We are facing increased living costs. We're facing increased healthcare costs, increased food costs, increased gasoline costs.
That public hearing is scheduled to start tonight at 7 o'clock. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Durham.
Well, yet another home collapsing into the ocean along the Outer Banks overnight. Take a look at your screen right now. This is the home on Buxton. This is a video from when that home was on the verge of collapsing as we checked on it last month. This is the 20th home to fall there since last September. The National Park Service asking people to stay out of that water south of Cape Point. Collapsed homes create major environmental concerns, sending debris into the surf and triggering costly cleanup efforts along that coastline. Monty County Animal Service is facing almost $20,000 in fines from the state. This is a copy of that notice from the state. It says the more than $19,000 in fines are over concerns involving euthanizations of several dozen different animals. State inspectors found staff did not comply with state-required procedures and documentation for those animals. The county says they apologize for what happened and their staff won't perform any more euthanizations until they are properly retrained. Well, today, state lawmakers are expected to vote on a bill aimed at putting guardrails on data centers and protect residents like you from footing the cost to support these data centers. WR's Kirsten Clark live outside the legislative building this morning. Kirsten, this bill is speeding through the legislature and lawmakers are looking for some middle ground here.
Yes, it is, Ken. And you might remember this bill was first introduced in the state legislature back in May. Lawmakers say decisions around data centers are really a balancing act between promoting economic growth and protecting the local community. Now, when it comes to this bill, it addresses how and where data centers should grow in the state. It would require data centers to cover the cost of electricity, grid upgrades, and new power generation. It would also require the use of recycled water systems designed to minimize stress on drinking water sources, with other restrictions on noise pollution and land use planning. Now, there is some disagreement on the bill. Tech industry representatives warn some parts of the bill could make North Carolina less competitive, while others say the bill is a start but does not go far enough in cracking down on data centers. So the House of Representatives, they plan to vote on this measure today, and if it is approved, it will move on to the Senate. Live in Raleigh, Kirsten Clark, WRAL News.
Also, state lawmakers are recommending changes to a bill that would put new restrictions on social media for teens. The changes would zoom in on what lawmakers call, quote, addictive apps, including ones with infinite scroll, autoplay video, and algorithm-driven feeds. Lawmakers also want to extend restrictions to some entertainment, gaming, and e-commerce platforms. The bill is moving through the Senate, where changes could still be made. For more on what's in that bill, including new provisions from artificial intelligence instruction in schools, head to the NC Capitol section of our website, WRAL.com. We're coming up on 8:40 now. Cutting car insurance costs. The price of car insurance keep climbing, and even good drivers may be paying hundreds more. 5 on your side shows us how one quick phone call could lower your bill without sacrificing coverage. Our teacher of the week isn't above showing her playful side, which her students enjoy. We're at Lacey Elementary to surprise this second grade teacher whose classroom decor is the talk of the school.
And the talk of the town, I think, is this weather. Absolutely gorgeous. Another really pretty day with low humidity and lots of sunshine. But warmer weather is ahead, of course. I'll let you know when it feels like summer again coming up. 844, it's pretty everywhere, especially here in Fayetteville. We look down Hay Street, those pretty shade trees, you're going to need that this afternoon. However, in the shade, it's going to feel delightful. Our humidity remains low today, and so that means if you can find a shady spot, it's going to feel really comfortable. Still feels great right now, 63 in Roanoke Rapids, at 64 here in Fayetteville, 61 in Wilson, and 58 in Durham. We started in the mid and upper 40s in some places, broke a record low this morning in Raleigh at RDU at 48 degrees. It's going to be a beautiful day, though. 76 at lunchtime. It'll be perfect for spending some time outside if you have that window of opportunity. And then headed out to the Bulls game tonight. There's been a lot of talk about the Hurricanes, but if you need your sports fix, it's at the Bulls tonight. Perfect. 6 o'clock, 80 degrees, and at 8 p.m., 76. They take on Charlotte. So it'll be a perfect evening for baseball. We do have hotter weather on the way by the weekend. We'll check that out coming up. Chris?
And Elizabeth, if you're trying to connect to I-40 from Johnston County, here's a heads up. This is looking from the Clayton bypass toward NC-42, and traffic at a standstill there. Just a few moments ago, this crash was causing a 1-mile backup. Now that backup is 2 miles. It starts near Cornwallis Road. It goes all the way back to the east. So just to give you some perspective, again, if you're trying to connect to I-40 coming in from places like Clayton or Wilson's Mills, your best bet is going to be to take Highway 70. So we'll continue to follow that and pass along any updates you need to know on the radio.
Well, Chris, thanks. So along with everything else, the price we pay for car insurance keeps going up. Even if you're a good driver, you're probably paying a few $100s more now compared to recent years. 5 on your side's Ashley Rowe shares 8 ways to lower your premiums and save money.
The average driver now pays nearly $2,700 a year for car insurance. Here are several steps you can take to get that number lower. Talk with an independent agent. This will make it easier to compare coverage and premiums from several different insurance companies. Consider increasing your deductible. This saves you cash because you're bumping up your out-of-pocket cost for repairs. Just make sure you can cover it. Drop collision and comprehensive. Collision covers damage if you're in a hit and run, and comprehensive covers storm, theft, and fire. As years and miles pile up, the lowered value on your ride might not be worth the expenses.
As a general rule, if your premium is more than 10% what your car is worth, then you should consider dropping collision and maybe even comprehensive too.
Bundle up and save. Most companies offer discounts on annual premiums when you purchase both your home and auto policies from them. Take a defensive driving course. To keep the discount, you'll probably have to take it again in a few years. Sign up for driving monitoring. Some insurance companies offer a discount if you let them monitor your good driving habits. Finally, pay out of pocket when it makes sense, like for one of those car fender benders. Life changes also impact how much you pay. If you've gotten married, divorced, or had a death in your family, make sure your policy is updated. And if you no longer have a teen driver, you could save up to $2,000 a year. Ashley Rowe, 5 on your side.
As health officials continue to monitor people linked to the rare hantavirus outbreak, researchers at Duke are investigating how certain conditions contribute to the disease. Rodents are among the main species that can serve as reservoirs for the disease. Researchers at the Duke Lemur Center found in a study that mostly black rats carry the virus. Black rats are primarily found in agricultural areas. Conservation Director James Herrera says environmental changes affect the spread of the disease.
In the more intensively human-transformed landscapes, that's where you see much more of the black rats, and that's where you see much more of the disease prevalence. That means that restoring landscapes, bringing in more native species, can actually reduce disease transmission.
Herrera says while the current outbreak remains rare, understanding how people, animals, and the environment interact could help scientists prevent the next one. A bill moving forward in the state legislature could be of interest to North Carolina parents, especially after the snowstorms this winter that disrupted school and work schedules. The bill would allow schools to use more remote days due to bad weather instead of scheduling makeup days. Right now, schools can have up to 5 remote days for snowstorms, hurricanes, or other bad weather. The bill would boost that number to 8 days of canceled classes per year. Our Teacher of the Week draws inspiration from decorating her classroom from the animated film and the hit Broadway show The Lion King. And after you meet her, you'll understand why she's known for her engaging classroom environment and decor at Lacey Elementary in Wake County.
Hello, please pay attention. I'm your teacher. Time for action.
Sarah Young is all about creating a fun learning environment for her second grade students at Lacey Elementary in Wake County.
Everybody knows, like, Miss Young's room is the jungle, so I'm going to go to the jungle today.
Her students, after all, are Lacey Lions, which is the school's mascot.
And it made me think about the Lion King.
Miss Young took that theme to a whole new level, turning her classroom into a jungle.
When I created this space, I wanted them to feel like I want to come to school every day. I want to feel loved. I want to feel happy. I want to feel bright and loved. And so every time somebody walks in here, those are the reactions that I get. They're just like, wow, I just feel so welcome. It feels so homey. It feels amazing.
Miss Young credits her mom, a retired teacher, for inspiring her to seek a career in education.
So they both have characters that don't want to do what?
With the jungle room as a backdrop, each day is an adventure that keeps her students engaged in learning and helps them build confidence.
I built this family-oriented relationship with them from the beginning, so every day it feels like they're not leaving home. They're coming here to school to be like, this is my home.
Miss Young, you are WRAL's Teacher of the Week. Congratulations. Give her another big round of applause. I loved her reaction. Hey, if you'd like to nominate a teacher, go to WRAL.com, enter Teacher of the Week in the search box, and you might just see your favorite teacher on TV one day.
Job. I mean, I love those. I love when you go in and say, Miss whoever it is.
It's the best thing
You're
I do.
the Teacher of the Week.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
That's got to make your day.
It does make my day, makes their day, and we're loving this weather. It's making our day.
This is making our day. I'll tell you what. Did you get outside at all yesterday?
Absolutely. Beautiful.
Today, close to it. It's going to be a little bit warmer, but not enough to make a dramatic difference. We're taking a look across downtown from the state legislative building. 44 is our dew point, and that is critical. The dew point is in the 40s this time of year. It really just feels like early spring or sometime during the fall. It does not feel like June. 58 is our current temperature, and we did break a record low this morning. We made it all the way down to 48 at RDU this morning. 49 was the previous record set back in 1956. Now, that's not the coldest low in June. June 8th holds the record for the month of June at 38. So it does happen this time of year, just not very often. It's 62 in Apex, 61 in Garner, 64 in Wake Forest, 55 still in Chapel Hill. So it feels good outside right now. And temperatures are running around 5-ish degrees cooler than this time yesterday. But we are going to surpass that. It'll be about 5 or 6 degrees warmer this afternoon than it was yesterday. Yesterday was breezy, and it may be a bit breezy today as well, with those highs in the mid-80s. Here's what's going on. This high pressure system rotating clockwise has a tap of some cool dry air from Canada and just pushed it right into our area. We just don't see that normally. Normally, once we get into our real solid summer pattern, all that stays locked up into Canada. As we get closer to Saturday and the low dips a little farther to the south, it will be able to reach down and grab up some of that moisture. So the humidity will start to climb. As we get into the weekend, especially Sunday, will likely be approaching steamy. But with moisture in place, Monday's cold front could bring us some showers and thunderstorms. We're seeing cooler than normal temperatures right now, but notice how the heat builds. You can watch us turn to red and yellow as we get into Saturday. And it is going to be hot over the weekend with highs in the mid-90s with, again, a chance of storms on Monday. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, thanks. Before we head to break, take a look at your screen, your winning lottery numbers. We have another check of weather and traffic after the break.